What's up and welcome to Me, You, and Switch 2. I'm me, Tom Tate, and you are you, so let's talk about Nintendo Switch 2. This is your source for the latest Switch 2 news. We're coming at you every Tuesday and Friday. Short episodes. We're going to keep things 5 to 10 minutes long, short and sweet. Today is Friday, September 23rd. I was in Las Vegas pretty much all of last week. I was there for work, not for pleasure, so I appreciate the patience with the audio quality. You know, I actually think the cell phone audio wasn't half bad recording from my hotel room, and there wasn't a ton of news. So I think it actually worked out okay. But I am back at home. I'm back in the basement, back in my home office. I'm in front of a real microphone, a real computer. So let's dive in today. But before we get started with the news, I just want to give a shout out and a quick thanks, a quick appreciation to Meandering Mage, who left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And the review here, the headline is "No Nonsense Switch 2 News." The quote is, "Love the podcast. A quick 10 to 15 minutes to get all the news on Nintendo Switch 2 games. Love the consistent uploads and chill host." Meandering Mage, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone who's been listening to the show. No Nonsense Switch 2 News. That's why I started this podcast. I wanted to get the news out there in a very short, snackable format so you don't have to pour through articles and RSS feeds and Reddit posts and do all that stuff. I'll do that for you. I'll do all that for you and bundle it up every Tuesday and Friday. So this week we have a lot of game news. This week we have games that released recently, games that are coming out this week as we close out September. The first is Trails in the Sky First Chapter, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. This released last Friday. This is a remake of the first game of the Trails series by Falcom. These are RPGs. There's a demo out there for this one if you want to try it. I've read some mixed reviews on the performance, frame rate, things like that. So I'll keep looking to see if any formal reviews get released. I was checking around. There's some first impressions on Reddit, but no formal reviews yet. So once we get that, I'll share some feedback on the podcast. We have a few solid titles releasing later this week. First up, we have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. That'll come out on Thursday, September 25th. I'm putting a big caveat on this one. I want to share up front, this is not the Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game that will be released later this week. But this is a big game that's coming out, so I wanted to mention it. Per the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds website, a pass to upgrade your version from the Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 2 is in the works. Release date TBD. I read a couple articles earlier from this summer that the upgrade will be like this year, 2025, likely around the holidays. We'll see. I don't have a confirmation. This is a $60 game though, and I'm not able to see how much the Switch 2 upgrade will cost, but it does not appear to be a free upgrade. So maybe $10, that seems to be the going rate for these upgrades. But if you buy it now for $60 and you upgrade it now later, that'll be $70 title. Plus if you want to pay for some of the expansion pack stuff. So I'd say unless you're dying to play this game, it might be worth waiting for that formal Switch 2 release. There's also a few waves of additional kart racers from other franchises like Pac-Man, SpongeBob, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that'll come out over the life cycle of the game. So I think this game will continue to get some good support. Ichiban from Yakuza and another racer who's from the Persona franchise will be available as free racers as well. The reviews, kind of pre-release reviews are out for this game, and they are really good. I don't know if these are based on the Nintendo Switch version or the PS5 version. This is coming out for multiple consoles. But IGN wrote, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds fires on all cylinders with a fantastic roster of 24 of my favorite hedgehogs, foxes, echidnas, and more. The lineup of 24 main tracks and 15 cross-world tracks is the best designed selection we've ever gotten in any Sonic racing game, and there is a generationally great soundtrack to accompany them. The racing itself feels fast, fantastic, and intuitive, and lots of options to tweak your stats to your preferred playstyle. I've played Sonic racing games in the past, so I'm looking forward to that. And that was just a quick quote, a verbatim from the IGN review. They gave it a 9 out of 10. VGC and Games Radar gave it a 4 out of 5. Game Informer gave it an 8.5 out of 10. So let's keep an eye on Sonic Racing Cross Worlds as we learn more about the Nintendo Switch 2 edition or upgrade path later this year. Hades 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition releases on Thursday as well. The price is going to be $30 with a free upgrade from the Nintendo Switch 1 edition. So if you buy this on Nintendo Switch 1, you'll get that free upgrade. This might be nice if you have multiple consoles. So if you have an old Switch 1, maybe a Switch 1 OLED sitting around, and you have a Switch 2, maybe get the Nintendo Switch 1 edition and you'll get that free upgrade, which is really nice. This, of course, is a sequel to the 2020 game Hades, which became a huge hit for Supergiant Games, who's the developer of this title. It's coming to Mac, PC, Switch, and Switch 2. I didn't see this coming to other consoles, maybe next year. But right now, Switch 2 might be like one of the best places to play this if you don't have a Steam Deck or a PC or something like that. There are some early access reviews from an early access release, which I think was in 2024. But I'm going to hold off on commenting on the game's performance and the reviews until I read some actual Switch 2 impressions, which will likely come later this week. But I wanted to put this on your radar. For $30, this might be a good title to pick up. I know people played Hades forever, the original Hades, so this game might really extend your budget. Between, Silksong releasing at a decent price and Hades 2 releasing at a decent price, pretty happy with some of the, I'll call it indie, but I don't even know if we can call these indie anymore because of how well these games perform. But pretty happy with some of these selections. Later in the week, we have EA Sports FC26 and Pac-Man World 2 Repack releasing on Friday, September 26th. I will cover those on Friday's episode, so we'll talk more about those later on in the week. In other news, WWE2K25 announced an end date for online features and services. It'll be March 14th, 2027. So that is less than 2 years after the game was released on Nintendo Switch 2. So, while end-of-service dates aren't uncommon for these online games, these are interesting times we're living in. Because if you bought this game at launch for full price, you really got a code in a box. You didn't even get the actual physical cartridge with the game on the cartridge. And you get less than 2 years of online play. So if you pick this up later in its life, maybe on sale, if you do that, make sure you do that mostly for the single player or local multiplayer modes, or just knowing that eventually you're not going to be able to play online. Finally, I really try to keep a close eye on the eShop to see what's going on sale. I was happy to see Street Fighter 6 for Switch 2 is 50% off right now, which brings it down to $20. So this is a $20 game. Street Fighter 6 was one of the launch titles. With the price of games right now, I recommend favoriting or wish listing your favorite games, the games that you want to play in the eShop, and just be patient. Be patient if money is an issue right now. I think we'll see a lot of digital sales as these games continue to age a bit, especially from third parties. Nintendo, if you're listening to this podcast, Nintendo is typically very stingy with deep discounts, but maybe we'll see things change as hardware prices are high right now and software is also releasing pretty high as well too, right? So maybe we'll see Nintendo loosen up a little bit. We'll see more than just their typical, 33% discounts. But to get Street Fighter 6 for $20, not bad. Related to prices, I also read an article. This is just industry news. Xbox is raising their console prices by anywhere from $20 to $70, but this is their second price increase. So the 2 terabyte Galaxy Edition Series X launched in 2024 for $600, and it is now $800. And the base Series X launched in 2020 for $500, and now it is $650. So the prices of these consoles, PS5, we saw, things are just going up. And this is not a political statement. I promise you, this podcast will never become a political podcast. I'm going to keep my personal views out of it. But these shifts in prices are undoubtedly the direct result of tariffs being imposed by the United States. So, provided those tariffs continue to stay in place, I'm very much expecting Nintendo Switch 2 to increase its price in 2026. I wouldn't be shocked if tariffs also have an impact on the continued move from physical games to game key cards or digital-only releases. A lot of these physical games are produced outside of the United States, and we're incurring an additional cost just to produce them. So we'll keep an eye on prices. We'll keep an eye on macroeconomic conditions. But I'm hoping that this trend changes. I don't want video games to become a luxury. I want them to continue to be a hobby that is accessible for as many people as possible. But I don't want to end on a negative note. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm over the 10-minute mark on this one. But again, I'm just so excited to be back in the basement behind an actual microphone. So I hope you enjoy this fantastic Tuesday. I hope you have a wonderful week. We've got a wide array of games to play on Switch and Switch 2, and the NSO Classics library continues to grow. So if new games get more expensive, maybe that's even a more compelling reason to play games from your backlog. Right now, I am playing Xenogears on PS1. I'm playing a PS1 game and I'm loving it. I'm playing it for the first time. It's a 27-year-old RPG and it plays just fine for me. So I'm enjoying my mix of classic games and new games as well. Switch2pod.com for all the things. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. It means the world to me. A kind rating or review, just like we've received from Meandering Mage on Apple Podcasts, really goes a long way as I continue to try to grow this show and do what I love to do and bring the news to you. If you don't feel like leaving a review, that is totally cool. If you want to share with your friends, family members, any Nintendo fans in your life, I really appreciate that too. I will be back on Friday with the latest news. Much love. Now go play some games.